What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you tuning in. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. Really weird late last night, early this morning. The Clippers decide to cut Chris Paul kind of in the middle of the night. He didn't see it coming. It wasn't something they had talked about, but they just decide to move on and they release him. And it is a really weird situation for a number of reasons. But now he's a free agent, and it's like, should the Suns consider bringing him on? Well, there's a lot of different things to jump into this. So first, I want to talk about the Clipper side of it. NBA is a business. You're going to have to find ways to contribute. Sometimes you need a roster spot. Sometimes you just need fresh blood. There's a number of reasons why you would waive a guy like this and stuff and kind of make moves. It is very strange and disrespectful, really, the way that the Clippers did this. Chris Paul is a legend. He's a legend of the game. He's also a legend of that franchise. This is not like the Spurs, if they did that after he had been there for just a minimal amount of time and they decide to kind of like move on. No, this is a guy that had some of his best years ever with the Clippers and did some historic things for them, got them on the cusp of being a team that was a real championship contender type. They weren't able to get it done, but he still was able to really kind of elevate that franchise to a spot where they had never really been. On top of that, there's kind of a code in the NBA once players have given so much of their time and had been in the league for long enough that they've given enough to the league that the league treats them with a certain level of respect. You saw it even, with Paul Pierce did a farewell tour. Like, there's a lot of guys that maybe weren't on that top tier echelon, like a Kobe when he did it, but guys that the league respects. Dirk Nowitzki when he retired. Like, guys that are really top-end talent that everyone recognizes kind of what they had given to the game and their value. Dwayne Wade got this kind of treatment. You don't just cut him in the middle of the night. If you really, really wanted to move on, you would have brought him in, had conversation, been like, hey, this is not working out. Let's find a way to say this, and we need to make this move, but we need to do this in a way we don't want to tarnish your reputation. Instead, they just cut him, which has to be intentional. There has to be something going on that they want, because that's not a move that you make nonchalantly. If you're going to make that move, there's a number of ways you can do it and still be respectful. They kind of chose the route to be disrespectful. What is going on in LA to make them feel like that was the right thing to do to a guy that, again, probably is in contention to have his jersey retired for the Clippers? Maybe. He might be one of the best players, top 5 best players that franchise has ever had. They do this. Really weird. Now, like I said, he is a free agent. There are some teams out there that will be suitors, but if we're going to be honest about this, which we got to be, have you watched many of the Clippers games this year? There's a reason he got cut. I'll put it like that. It hasn't been great for Chris Paul. He's looked not on his last leg. He's looked like he's been out of legs, just about. Now, he's still a guy that understands the game at a level that almost nobody else probably in the league, maybe LeBron, can really break down and plays it at that kind of style. His body just doesn't react, doesn't move the way that it once was. So what would his role be? What can he give to a team? If he goes to the right spot, he can mentor a young point guard. He can contribute, but he doesn't want to just hop around right now. This was supposed to be his farewell tour. So if he stays in the league and just doesn't decide to retire right now, which I really hope he does find somewhere that he can go to, because this would be an awful way for a legend of this league to go out. So the situation would have to be right. There's only two real options I could see it being something. If you want a point guard that starts, it's a tone setter, and a little bit gets the offense rolling, and you're keeping him to 15 minutes a game, maybe something like that. Very, very minimal. But you need a guy that can kind of just get you in actions and kind of get out of the way. Mike Conley's kind of become that role, hit open shots. But at this stage, it certainly looks like Mike Conley's better than that. And Mike Conley was kind of the weak link for the Timberwolves. There's a couple teams like that. Houston is desperately needing a point guard right now. They have NBA championship aspirations. They don't need a guy to full on run the show for 40 minutes. But if they can get someone to set the tone a little bit, just find open guys, maybe. Would he want to go back to Houston? Maybe. Another possible avenue would be if he really just wants, maybe he's a guy that wants to get into coaching and he just wants to mentor a young point guard that has a lot of talent but kind of needs to learn the game and comes in. What if he went to, it's a weird fit in some ways, but what if he went to Detroit and he worked with Cade and really taught him how to use a pick and roll and kind of evolved his game and took him under his wing a little bit and started to get the idea, the feel for coaching. Not horrendous. It's not bad. Cade certainly is elevated, but he's got another gear, another level he can get to. But there's only a couple of spots like that have that up-and-coming point guard. The other option is, does he want to go ring chasing? Now, it'd be a legacy move at that point, and I think he would want to probably go somewhere he's familiar with, because if he doesn't, he's just going to be last man on the bench on a team that no one really remembers, and how much value is in that? He did play in OKC. The Thunder fans, the community of Oklahoma City loved him. They're pretty good, if you haven't noticed. He could go there, be the last man on the bench, work with Shea a little bit, mentor him a little bit. I mean, the dude is an MVP. It's not like he needs a ton of help at this point, but the guy's also a sponge. He reacts well to guys coaching, and he likes to be coached hard. Could he go there, give him some insight, teach him some things that you have to learn in basketball that aren't natural talents, because when it comes to natural talents, Shea can do everything. And then just be a part of a team that wins a title in a city that he enjoyed playing for. Those are about three spots, or three types of teams. Here's the thing. Phoenix doesn't fit the mold for any of those. They don't have a young stud point guard up and coming. If you think that's Colin Gillespie, I mean, I've been pretty high on Colin Gillespie this year, but that's a bit overselling. I don't know if he's that. I don't know if he's a franchise, starting point guard. I think he might be a guy that could be a helpful rotational piece. That's about it. And then it's not like they're close really to full on competing for a title. They have a lot of depth this year, and so I don't know where he'd be getting minutes. It doesn't seem to check any of the boxes. And I know during the summer, I also pushed that I thought this would be a great fit. I thought there was more left in the tank. He looked pretty solid in San Antonio. He looks like a little bit like he's fallen a little bit off a cliff this year. So I don't love the fit for Phoenix at all, because they don't have a star rising point guard that he can mentor. They don't have just a dying need at point guard where he can come in and set the tone for a little bit and move out. That might be the closest that he can do of the three. So I don't know what comes next for him. It's just kind of sad watching a guy that did so much for the league and has been a staple of the league for so long get treated like that. What is going on in LA that make them make this move? If something doesn't come out explaining it, they're going to look awful, because you don't do that to a guy that has been in the league and has been this instrumental to kind of developing basketball and being a part of the fabric of the league for this long. Really strange move they did. I don't know where he goes next. I hope he lands somewhere. I like Houston the best for him, but it doesn't look great. Like his career, it would hate I would hate for his career to end not on his terms, which is what it looks like right now. So hopefully he gets one more shot, can finish out the season somewhere and somewhere where he'll be appreciated. And either he can have the effect to see if he likes coaching, mentor a guy, or he can have a chance of trying to win a title. It's tough. It's not great what's going on for him. I just don't think the right fit is Phoenix right now.